Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to sharpen one of the most important tools in your language kit. We're talking about adjectives and adverbs, and how knowing the real difference can make your English sound way more precise and powerful. All right, let's jump right in. So, let's kick things off with a classic. I'm sure you've heard this one before, and you've probably wondered, wait, which one is actually correct? Is this English good, or does he speak it well? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this, you're not only going to know the answer, you'll know exactly why it's the answer. And the secret to figuring all this out? It really comes down to this one simple idea. The best way to think about adjectives and adverbs is that they're two different words for two totally different jobs. You know, if you use the wrong one, it's kind of like trying to hammer in a screw. It might sort of work, but it's messy and it's just not right. Okay, first up, the adjective. Its one and only job in life is to describe a noun. You know, a person, a place, or a thing. It basically answers the question, what kind is it? So if we say she has a fast car, the word fast is all about the car, which is a thing, a noun. Or how about he is a careful driver? Here, careful describes the driver, a person. See? Pretty straightforward. Now let's meet its partner, the adverb. Adverbs have a completely different job. They don't really care about things, they care about actions, verbs. An adverb answers the question, how is this action happening? So if we say, he drives carefully, see the difference? Carefully isn't describing him, it's describing how he drives. Or, Maria speaks English perfectly. Perfectly describes the action of speaking. It's all about the how. So look, if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. This is the whole game, right here. Adjectives are for things. Adverbs are for actions. One describes nouns, the other describes verbs. That is the fundamental rule that unlocks everything. Okay, that's great, but how do you actually make an adverb? Well, luckily, most of the time, English gives us a super easy little trick. I call it the magic Lee trick. Let me show you how it works. The trick is just as simple as it sounds. In most cases, you just take an adjective and tack ly onto the end. And boom, you've got an adverb. Quick becomes quickly. Quiet becomes quietly. The adjective careful turns into the adverb carefully. You are literally changing the word's entire job with just those two little letters. Now, there is one tiny spelling rule you gotta watch out for. If your adjective already ends in a Y, like the word happy, you just have to change that Y into an I before you add the ly. So happy becomes happily. Easy becomes easily. It's a small change, but it's an important one. Of course, this is English, so just when you think you've got a perfect rule, along come the exceptions. But hey, don't worry. There are only a few really common rule breakers, and honestly, they're pretty easy to remember. That's right. These are the rebels of the grammar world, and they just happen to be some of the most common words we use every single day. And here are the main culprits. First up, the big one that answers our first question. The adjective is good, but the adverb is well. So he is a good cook, but he cooks well. And then you have some that just don't change at all. Fast works as both. She is a fast runner, and she runs fast. Same thing with hard. It was a hard test, and I studied hard. These are the big ones you just have to lock into your brain. All right, that's enough theory. The best way to make this stuff stick is to actually use it. So let's do a few practice rounds. I'll show you a sentence and you pick the right word for the job. You ready for this? Okay, first one. My grandfather drives very... Is it slow or is it slowly? Think about it. What are we describing here? Are we describing the grandfather or are we describing the action of driving? And the answer is slowly. Of course it is, because we are describing how he drives. We're describing the verb, so we need the adverb. Awesome start. Let's try another one. The children are playing... Is it happy or happily? Again, what word are we modifying here? Yep, you got it. It's happily. We're not just saying the children are happy as people. We're describing the action. We're describing how they are playing. All right, last one, and this one's a little bit of a curveball, so think carefully. Please be careful or carefully. The answer is careful. So, why not carefully? Because the sentence is telling you, a person, a noun, to be a certain way. It's describing a state of being, not an action. The command is for you to be a careful person. A little tricky, right? But it still follows the rule perfectly. And that brings us right back to our main idea. It honestly is this simple. Whenever you're writing or speaking, just take a half second and ask yourself, Am I describing a thing? A noun? If you are, you need an adjective. Or, am I describing an action? A verb. In that case, you gotta grab an adverb. So there you have it. You know the secret code now. You know exactly why a person with good English speaks English well. And the next time you hear someone mix them up, a little bell is gonna go off in your head. So the only question left is, what other sentences are you gonna fix out there in the world today?